match. Patrick Rafter of Australia ready to serve. First point.
Point, please. Ready to play. Thank you.
Well, you can see the reaction right from there. They thought that one was an ace. It was called a fault, so we got boos and cheers. We got Andre signs and Patrick signs all over the place. This is going to be a contest as much in the stands as really as it is on the court.
Oh, comes right in and puts away the first point. 15-love. Andre Agassi is 25 years old, and he is from Las Vegas, Nevada. If you have not seen him since his haircut, his hairstyle,
you still haven't seen it.
Enjoy.
Yeah, he's got his do-rag on. He's got a pirate look going. Actually,
looks like he should be on the bridge of the Mutiny of the Bounty in a way.
And Patrick Rafter's shirt is called the pajama shirt.
30 love.
And it's selling like hotcakes here in Flinders Park.
30 love. Started out serving very well as Patrick Rafter, and he has got a game point. Birthplace for him is Queensland.
40 love.
He's got a residence in Bermuda now, but 23-year-old, he spends a lot of time here in Australia, of course.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Rafter.
So Rafter not having any trouble winning his first serve game. 1 game to love, first set. They'll take a break. Calling this a moderate wind. I'd sure like to be in a moderate wind all the time. It feels pretty still to me. No rain in the forecast. It has really been a spectacular day today, weather-wise, temperature-wise, and seen some outstanding tennis so far. We will fill you in on those details as this evening and this match progresses. It is Andre Agassi to start out here. As you can hear, this crowd are non-stop screamers.
It's interesting because it was such a quiet first week for Agassi. He's played so well. I was speaking with him yesterday, and he said, you know, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a Grand Slam to me. Now I'm sure it does. Yeah,
well, the second week he said he's been so relaxed, and the crowd down there, we mentioned it's the first time he's been here for the Australian Open. He's played in the Australian indoors in Sydney. He was to have come out here last year, but had wrist surgery.
15 love Agassi.
Agassi said the first week felt like juniors. Now he says here's where the tournament really starts.
Nice ball toss there. A high ball toss on the serve, Agassi.
He's had a very good year last year, didn't he? Won Scottsdale, Toronto. The big one was the US Open, of course, and he won a couple of others, including the Paris Indoor. Finalist in Key Biscayne as well, number 2 in the world.
Patrick Rafter's tactics here to try and get to the net. He is now coached by Australia's Davis Cup coach Tony Roach. He has not had anything to do with Ivan Lendl. Lendl has retired now. Roach is the Australian Davis Cup coach, so looks after all the youngsters. And Roach and Newcomb certainly here. That's John Newcomb on the left of your screen.
Newcomb on the right-hand
side, and he's with the moustache. That's the trademark of Newcomb. But they've given their man instructions to try and get to the net. Of course, he cannot compete with Andre Agassi from the baseline. Agassi strokes the ball just too well for Rafter, who hasn't had anywhere near the experience that Agassi has had.
No one's lost a point on serve yet.
Rafter won Manchester. He was a finalist also in Hong Kong. Had a very good year. The year before that in Indianapolis is where he really made his move, though. He beat a bunch of very, very fine players, including Pete Sampras. Finally lost to Becker in the final. 30 love, 1 game all.
He had 33 aces coming into this 4th round match, Patrick Rafter. He's got 2 already here.
All the TV networks have been following these 2 lads around all day. They're following the practice. They're following them back to the hotels, wanting to know what they've done. Both players have been kind enough to do interviews because this is a big night. This is prime time down here on network television in Australia, this particular match. That's the first point won against the serve. And it was a brilliant return from Agassi that set up the point for him. And he gets in there very quick. That's a reverse angle you'll see on all the replays here from Australia.
White, please. White, please.
Nobody is better in the tennis business at returning second serve than Andre Agassi. If you show him a second serve, look out.
He's over 60% effective on his opponent's second serve in this tournament. And we keep talking about how well Patrick Rafter has been serving. He's been broken 13 times. Agassi only 3 times in 9 sets.
Game point. Let it go. It sails long. No breaks of serve yet. Early stages, though. Best of 5 sets. First set, 2-1 to Australia's Pat Rafter. Two games to 1. Rafter of Australia leading Agassi of the USA. Agassi to serve. Patrick Rafter took out Jim Courier at the Newsweek Champions Cup last year. And as I said, he has a win over Sampras as well. That was in Cincinnati the year before. He's played Agassi officially twice. Agassi's won both of those meetings, but they did play in an exhibition match prior to the start of the Australian Open. Agassi had flown in and played the next day, and Rafter beat him then.
That was over in Adelaide.
30 low.
2 slice backhands there from Rafter, who floated long. Face of the racket's opened a little bit too much. Rafter's backhand side is a little more consistent than the forehand. He's goes for both of them, but he can slice the backhand as well as come over the top of the ball. Agassi, I think, as this match progresses, will get to the forehand a little more often. Directed that one down the tee to the forehand.
Oh, what a shot from Rafter. Running forehand, clean winner. Still game point for Agassi.
Great anticipation here from Rafter. You can see he's on the move. Good preparation. The racket's back before the ball bounces. He closes the face of it and snaps the wrist as he comes through. Brilliant forehand, that one.
Game Agassi.
Agassi goes back to the forehand once more.
2 games.
Flinders Street Station in Melbourne, so if you want to head from here on by train, that's a good spot to go to.
That Flinders Street Station is only about a 10-minute walk from the Flinders Park Arena, and that's why public transportation is the way that a lot of these folks would have been taking tonight.
Rafter ended up 92 at 301 in the world. By the end of 93, he was 57. He is now number 21. So it's been a meteoric rise for the Australian number 1.
second service.
Talked about the publicity that this has got here in Australia, the Ford Australian Open. That's what it's called, but there's another car company got into the act today by supplying Pat Rafter's parents with a chauffeur-driven limousine for the time they were here to watch their son compete. But the car goes back at the weekend.
It must have been a big one because he's one of 9 children in their family.
Look how far Agassi is inside the baseline when he cranks up on this return. It's a good 6 feet inside the baseline as he, look at this, steps right in, gets it in the hitting zone, which is between waist and chest high, and that's where he likes it. And then he tees off.
Plus, Freddie was a foot or 2 inside the baseline when he made contact with it. Second serve.
That one was just too well placed. Agassi was out of his power zone, but you can tell he's trying to hurt Rafter's service game, and he hasn't been able to yet. He hasn't shaken the young Aussie.
Well, Rafter's got to go for the second serve. He's been given instructions. You can't just sort of roll it over and come in and hope for a volley because Agassi's too tough in that department.
That's very, very good.
But again, that's where you can get into trouble. The inexperience that Pat Rafter has had, if he presses too much, it could cause a couple of double faults. But at this stage, as you mentioned, he has done very well on serve.
A couple of nights ago, Pat Rafter over Marcus Andruska of South Africa in a match that a lot of people here called the best match they'd ever seen.
There's a lot of hype attached to
I do
Patrick
too.
Rafter. But Agassi had gotten himself in trouble with the media here because he had claimed that was going to be a tough one for Rafter to win. He thought Andruska had a chance, and then he got killed in the press board. He said, "Did you see what they did to me today?"
Well, the Australians are betting people, and Andre Agassi had a little wager on Andruska in that, so Patrick Rafter holds on, and he leads 3-2.
ESPN tonight. We've got a college basketball triple header. First of all, from the Big East, number 6 Syracuse visits number 2 Connecticut. The Huskies are the only undefeated team in Division 1. Tip-off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then a Big 8 matchup. Number 7 Kansas hosts Nebraska at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Finally, out west we go as DePaul visits the Big West UC Santa Barbara at midnight Eastern Time. Andre Agassi and Pat Rafter in the biggest match of this Australian by far so far in terms of interest. 3-2 Rafter. Agassi to serve, no breaks. First set.
Point, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ready to play. Love.
Rafter and Andruska will play again because Rafter, as soon as this Ford Australian Open is over for him, will be heading to Durban, South Africa, with the first round of the Davis Cup. Australia versus South Africa. United States plays against France in St. Petersburg and will be there.
And that will be without Andre Agassi. That will be Todd Martin and Jim Courier representing the U.S. Good chip and charge tactic there from Rafter, but a good deep serve from Agassi. Very close to the line, that one.
Point, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Bruno Rebeu in the chair. He's going to have a tough night to try and keep this Australian crowd quiet.
By the way, Todd Martin losing earlier today badly to Yevgeny Kafelnikov in straight sets. That's wide. 30-15.
Well executed volley on this occasion. You look at it from Rafter's end of the court. He plays it. Good wheels from Agassi. Just couldn't control it when he got there.
Point, please.
Bruno Rabat has declared himself right away in this match that, you know, he wants to take hold of it and keep the pace fair for both players.
That's terrific control from Rafter. He was patient. 3 or 4 hits from the baseline, and then he gets this forehand, gets in. There's a tough shot there from Agassi, forcing him to play the half volley. Not an easy shot to play.
Earlier today, Patrick Rafter said, "This is the biggest match of my life." And he's playing it very well.
30-all.
I think Agassi will really try to break down that Rafter forehand in the longer rallies. That's what I think anyone would try to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like Rafter winning the bulk of those baseline battles. I think that's why he tried to break that one open.
Game point. Deuce. Agassi, of course, is a veteran of Grand Slam play now. He got to 3 Grand Slam finals, 2 with the French and 1 at the US Open before he won his first one, which was the 92 Wimbledon. He has also won the US Open.
It's that forehand again. He closes the face of the racket when he goes back, so he's really got to go for it.
Advantage Agassi.
Watch how he closes the face and then he just doesn't get over the top of the ball. That's what causes it to go into the net. Those last 2. Doesn't get underneath it to get it back over the net.
Game point Agassi, second serve. Three apiece in the first set.
That last fan referring to Brooke Shields in that placard. Of course, she's dating Andre Agassi. That's Patrick Rafter's family, part of it, in the middle of your screen.
Point, please.
Patrick's mother.
Thank you.
Patrick's dad changed his serve about 3 or 4 years ago to be more like Ivan Izovic's.
All of Pat Rafter's brothers play. They're all good athletes. As Cliff mentioned, a large family, 3 sisters and 5 boys and 3 girls in the family.
Love 15.
This is where Agassi is at his best. He's just going to keep working and working on that second serve, making Rafter play those low volleys and stretching to make that shot. Rafter's service percentage has gone down from about 62% down to about 53% now. And the first point of this all-important 7th game has gone to Agassi.
Open court volley for Rafter. As I said, his dad, Jim, wanted to really shorten up that serve motion. That's what they did. He said, shorten it up and give it a whack, as they say down here in Australia.
Well, on this occasion, he just plays a 3/4 pace serve. I think he's got to mix his serve up. That time he threw in a 3/4 pace spinner, and it jumped up a little too high for Agassi. I think that's a good play here, that the top spinner, the serve that gets up high, because on this rebound ace court, the ball does bounce a little higher. The court is a little slower than the surface that they play on at the US Open.
30-15. That is terrific stuff from both players. An unbelievable return to serve. Great volleying throw from Rafter. I like the way he's keeping this thing at Agassi.
Rafter has to serve as well as he has been serving, because in his first 3 rounds, Agassi's opponents have lost more than half of the points at the net because of the way he attacks and tries to pass. So there's the single most important shot of this whole match is Patrick Rafter's serve effectiveness.
At the US Open, Andre Agassi on return of serve was unbelievable. He broke 51 times out of 99.
There it is again.
Well,
he's got a chance to break right here.
And it's the first break point of the match so far. And again, it's the second serve. You start to press on that second serve. That one was a little short. Agassi was way in over the top of that ball.
Going into this match, Agassi here was also nearly at 50%. 19 of 42 serve games he has broken.
Tried to hit that one at 3/4 pace, and now he's facing a second serve. Look at the intense eyes on Agassi here. That's what I was talking about. You go for a little bit too much when you're pressed on that second serve. First break of the match goes to Agassi.
Since last March, this man, Brad Gilbert, that's Brad's wife, Kim, right underneath him. He has taken over the coaching duties for Andre Agassi, and it has been a remarkable effort from both those guys. And there's Gil Reyes, longtime friend and fitness trainer for Agassi.
The big guy there on the left of your screen as we were panning down from it.
Yeah, Brad Gilbert said to say hello to his son Zach, because Zach's not out here and they miss him. Well, what a terrific shot there from Agassi. He loves a target, whether you're hitting serves at him or chipping and charging. On that occasion, it was a pretty good chip here. Down the line, look at this. Great balance as he goes with the two-fisted backhand down the line.
Brad, having said that he loves the target, I don't think that was a bad play from Rafter.
No, an excellent play. Sure. Well, yeah, as I said earlier, we all said that he's not going to win from the baseline. He's got to get to the net. And that's the same sort of thing. It's the same philosophy that Agassi uses on Rafter's serve, where he's trying to put Rafter under pressure, and he misses a few. So Rafter's doing the same thing. He's trying to apply the pressure to the Agassi passing shot. Now, if Agassi comes up with the goods, he wins. If Rafter comes up with the serves, then he wins.
30-15.
That's a great shot from Rafter. 30-all. Forehand half volley from the baseline for a winner.
Well, neither player giving much ground here. Both around that baseline area. Rafter was inside the baseline when he thumped that forehand down the line. Look at this, from low to high. He whips that one up. He used Agassi's pace of shot to make that one down the line.
Agassi, by the way, says about Brad Gilbert that you saw a little while ago, he says he beat a lot of players that he shouldn't have, and I've lost to a lot of players that I shouldn't have. That's why I like him as a coach. He's got a good mind, and he does. Brad Gilbert, he's a great tactician. Game point here for Agassi.
I still feel, Fred, you correct me if I'm wrong, because you've watched Patrick Rafter play more than me, but I still feel that there's one part of his game that he can still make more disciplined. It's his return game.
Yeah.
Get more back.
No, I agree. And that's why I talked about the forehand, and we both have. I think Agassi again went to the forehand on that one. He's going to crack a few forehand winners, sometimes on big points, sometimes when you don't expect them. But that's the Achilles heel of his game, is the return to serve.
The victory at the Australian Open was something that Brad Gilbert was pushing for even before I got out of the tunnel at the US Open, says Agassi.
Look at that.
He got it on the line.
That's a second serve. He anticipates that. He's well inside the baseline when he makes contact. Gives him a chance to come over the ball. So another second serve there. So you can see that Rafter is starting to press even in the early stages of this match, trying to go for that first serve. And he's mixed it up and he hasn't got too many in. When you're a break in front and you love 15 and you get a second serve, you can crack it. He didn't have to aim that one. He just hit that one as hard as he possibly could, straight down the middle of the court. And it was just the pace of shot that beat Rafter.
I don't think he has any alternative, though. You talk about the great return of Agassi, and he knows that, but he has got to keep going for the first serve because he can't take too much off it. Otherwise, Agassi is going to treat that like a second serve. 15-30. Well, that was... yeah, they're going to play 2 on that one. The Cyclops machine went off. It was clearly in, though.
Well, Rafter's lucky that they're playing 2 on that one. Agassi struck that one. He got a let cord off the forehand down the line. Rafter wasn't even near it.
First service. 5 points.
First serve
again.
Set point for Agassi coming up.
Andre the Giant there. They love their tennis down here. They love Agassi. He's got fans all over the world. He's had more media coverage down here in Australia. He's been on the front page of every newspaper since he's been here. Pat Rafter also.
1A is Patrick Rafter.
1A, yep.
That's number 4. Yeah, don't even let Agassi hit it. I think that's a smart thing.
Easier said than done, of course. Still set point. You got another one. There's another ace.
You know, you scoff at my strategy, Cliff, but I think it's a way to go.
I love it if you can do it. Deuce. Five aces for Rafter. He just climbs all over it. Talk about the big returners of serve in the game. People like Michael Chang and Jim Courier, but I don't think there's anybody better than Agassi now.
I think there's ever been.
There's a lot of them, but I just think he hits the ball harder than anybody.
Set point number 3.
Saves another one.
Some of the hype for this match today, they asked Peter McNamara, one of our great Australians, won a couple of Wimbledon titles with Paul McNamee, who's the tournament director here. He said, well, I think it's a match against one of the best volleyers in the game, being Patrick Rafter, against the hardest hitter I've ever seen in tennis on the return. That is Andre Agassi. So you pit those two together, you're in for an exciting evening.
Double fault and another set point for Agassi. This is his 4th.
Only 2 double faults from Pat Rafter, but both of them that come at a terrible time, and it's when he's tried to go for that second serve because he knows Agassi's going to punish it, and he's gone for a little bit extra.
The first set to Andre Agassi of the USA, 6 games to 3. He'll serve. First game of the second set after a break. Pat Rafter of Australia. Australia's #1, the last Australian left in the tournament, taking on Andre Agassi. He was saying, while they were taking a break, he played a pretty good first set and came second. 6-3, 2 breaks.
Yeah, there was a time when you could say, well, if you hang around for a while, Agassi will go off the boil, as I like to say, and lose concentration. But I think since he's been with Brad Gilbert, that has changed a lot.
That's so very true, Fred. I mean, Agassi wants to win Grand Slam titles, and basically I think the best thing Brad Gilbert has been able to say to him is, look, buddy, you're 24 years old. Your best tennis is in the next couple of years. You should win 2 Grand Slam titles in the next 2 Grand Slam titles a year for the next 3 years. And surely this is a takeable title for him. That serve didn't have much on it, and it was quickly punished by Patrick Rafter. Look, he had plenty of time to take a full-bodied swing here. Go for it, and slapped it cross-court for the winner. So it must feel nice that he had a shot at Agassi's serve there.
5 points.
I just think Andre Agassi, too, has... I mean, obviously his game is still very flashy looking because he hits the ball so early and so hard, but I think he has stripped everything down, and that, too, is why he can concentrate and play these points one after another with so much intensity. No nonsense.
And he holds on easily. First game of the second set, 1 set to love. Agassi. Later this week here on ESPN, we'll have full 4-round coverage of the PGA Tour's Phoenix Open, presented by the Dial Corporation. $1.3 million at stake. Stellar field has been attracted. John Daly, Nick Faldo, Phil Mickelson. Thursday is the first day of our coverage at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You were talking about Grand Slam titles, you two, just a moment ago. Agassi has won 2, Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Only 4 people, Fred Perry, Don Budge, Roy Emerson, and Rod Laver, have won all 4 Grand Slams, believe it or not.
Great shot there of the ball kids here at the Ford Australian Open. Normally they're only out there on finals day, but they do such a terrific job here, and what a thrill for them to be out there to see their hero Pat Rafter against, I'm sure, one of their other heroes. Maybe a lot of them like Agassi more than Rafter, but what a thrill for those kids to be down there to watch this part of tennis history here at the Open. I remember when I was a ball kid, I was a ball boy at the Australian Open for Hode and Rosewall and those boys, and then I finished up playing doubles with Ken Rosewall, winning a couple of Grand Slams. It's a great thrill. So some of those kids there will be on centre court in years to come.
Andre Agassi did not go the ball boy route. He hit with Jimmy Connors by the time he was 8 years old in Las Vegas, and Bjorn Borg, too, as a young boy.
Andy Lunastasi.
Yeah, Pat Rafter is going over very big.
They like.
That's all there is to it.
They do like paint down here on their faces. That's slip, slap, slop. Actually, they put a lot of zinc on because of the heat of the sun down here.
Yeah, but Fred, this is a night match.
And this is, I know, but they like to do it, whether it's day or night. They get it out there.
40-15. Pat Rafter's what you call a fair dinkum kind of a guy too, Fred, isn't he? Very solid.
Here's your boy next door, as they say down under.
That's the first point that Patrick Rafter was able to win on a second serve. That had to feel pretty good. He held for 1-all.
And the second set, first set to Agassi. Beautiful look here downtown Melbourne, which is about a 10-minute run and a less than 5-minute drive from this beautiful stadium.
Cliff's been
I guess
running
if it was Fred, it might have been
You've been
15
running
or
it.
20 minutes.
No, you've been running it, and I've been driving it.
And they're both late every day.
Oh, now don't get into that.
Nice touch. Boy, just strummed that volley, Agassi, because he was so close to the net. Showed off a little bit of touch of his own.
Good topspin approach there from Agassi. He doesn't come to the net very often, but well executed volley on that occasion. Well, you can see that Pat Rafter is thinking, and he's trying to change his game, but that is not his game, to try and slow things down and try and roll forehands three-quarter court. Watch out.
That's an amazing point there from Andre Agassi. Hit that like that, and then Pat Rafter really should have made the volley and didn't. Anyway, he had 40 love. He easily wins the game. 2-1, second set. It hosts a variety of events here: basketball, boxing, opera, motocross, rock concerts, all kinds of spectaculars. 15,000 people in here. There's not a seat to be had. All of Australia is watching this live television. Local time is now 9:45 9:45 in the evening, Monday evening in Australia. Pat Rafter and Andre Agassi. Rafter to serve. Agassi leading 2-1 and 1 set to love.
Patrick Rafter's longtime girlfriend sitting there behind John Newcomb and Tony Roach.
The woman thousands and thousands of Aussie women hate. He's pretty dug in.
Just the return of serve, is that he backs it up with passing shots that are equally dynamic.
Well, he's so quick to get to that next shot. You know, he looks at that one and he can outguess. He had plenty of time to make that shot. He could have gone both ways, back cross court or down the line.
15-all. Yeah, that's a great serve, as you said. I'm beginning to believe him, man. I think the only way you can do it is by serving ace after ace. That is his sixth ace.
Right down the tee.
Game point for the Australian. Open court volley for Rafter, and he has leveled it at 2 games all in the second set. Agassi won the first set behind 2 breaks at 6-3. They are playing to get into the quarterfinal, which is worth $47,000 and change. Semi-finals worth $92,000. Runner-up will get $184,000. The winner of this Grand Slam will get $369,000, 219, and it's equal prize money here, by the way, for the men and the women.
Arantxa Sanchez Vicario in 1994 made more money in 1 year than any woman ever had, over $3 million. That's behind 2 Grand Slam titles, of course, the French and the U.S.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
He doesn't, when he doesn't close the face of the racket on that backhand, he just tries to block that serve back. It really flies.
Talk so much about the return of serve of Agassi, you lose sight of the fact that his serve has got so much more effective as well. I mean, he is putting in some fine, and he's placing it well too.
It's just right, and it does not get the publicity it deserves. He doesn't often hit a lot of aces. That was his first. But you're exactly right. He's become so stingy on serve, Agassi. He's become a much smarter server.
It's interesting to talk to him about his serve. He said a few years ago that he thought he had to just have a great serve to do any good in this game. He's now got a more consistent serve, and he takes the lead in the second set.
Agassi leads by 3 games to 2.
Introducing the tennis hip clip, an idea that is revolutionizing the game of tennis. The hip clip is made of high-impact plastic, fits snugly around your waist with an adjustable waistband and quick-release buckle, and holds up to 3 tennis balls. But the hip clip is not sold in stores. Pros, beginners, and intermediates are raving about the hip clip.
I would recommend the hip clip to anyone that loves the game and plays a lot of tennis. It's real convenient and it won't interfere with your strokes or restrict your movement on the court.
I love my hip clip. It's great not having the bulk in my pockets or under my skirt, and it makes me a better player because I have more freedom of movement, and I have more energy in my game because I'm not chasing the ball all over the court.
The hip clip is great because as an intermediate player, I can focus on my footwork and fundamentals without having to worry where the balls are. Plus, it really looks cool.
Get the hip clip in one of 3 great colors for only $14.95, or the set of 3 for only $29.95. When you order today, you'll receive a free issue of Tennis Match magazine. Call the phone number on your screen now. Have your credit card ready.
All of Australia is glued to this match. I hope you're enjoying it. It is the second set, 3-2. Agassi leading on serve. First set to Agassi.
Just the one service break in the first set went to Andre Agassi. The service percentages there, Agassi's got the better of it, 64 to 57%. Winners, well, they're pretty even. A lot of those from Rafter have come at the net. But look at those unforced errors. 18 from Rafter and only 1 from Agassi.
Thank you.
As Mary said, that's pretty stingy stuff when you've only made 1 error in a set and a half. Unforced error.
Oh, that's very nice from Rafter. Agassi shows no fear either. He is playing with such confidence.
Nice little drop volley there. I'm sure that's a tactic that Coach Roach and Captain Newcomb have passed on to the young Australian.
You mentioned Tony Roach's coaching Pat Rafter now. We should mention, though, Nailbags,
Yes.
who has been coaching him up to now, Bob Carmichael.
Bob Carmichael was on the road with Pat Rafter throughout 1994.
What happened to that, Fred?
Pat felt that he was getting a little stifled by having somebody around all the time, and basically that's what happened.
Jim Courier is without a coach, and he's playing some of the best tennis we've seen him play in a couple of years. Hasn't yet dropped a set, in fact, in 1995.
That was the call on that one.
No, he made it. It was called good. Very tough volley for him to attempt on this one. He hits it behind him. Look at this, and goes for the angle.
Game point, Rafter. Solid game again from Rafter. No breaks of serve against Agassi's serve. Rafter was broken twice in the first set. Hasn't been broken yet in the second. This Flinders Park Stadium court saw another great Australian, Pat Cash, play the final here in 1988. A losing effort, 5 sets, Mats Wilander.
An epic.
Epic.
Pat Cash, in fact, played here and lost very early.
And Mats Wilander played here and also lost very early.
Yeah, I think both those boys should be sharpening their game up for the 35 and over tour.
Oh, I was afraid you're going to say that, Fred, but I think you're right.
Well, Wilander does, in fact, play in the senior events. Pat Cash seems to think he's still got some good tennis in him.
That is a terrific move, and he's got to do more of it. It's easier said than done, because for you to get a short enough ball to be able to attack Agassi is not that easy, but watch, he does it here
This
well.
was not a very good approach shot, but he anticipated and guessed the right way. He was sitting right on top of the net. If you don't get that return back past the service line and you don't have any pace on it, then it's going to be dealt with. You're going to be on your heels for the rest of the point.
Pat Rafter has got so much to live up to. The great names of Australian tennis: Rod Laver, Ken Rosewall, John Newcombe, Tony Roach, Roy Emerson.
White, please.
I've even got to include you in that. Fred Starling. Pat Cash, Wimbledon winner.
Well, you really don't hear it that often from the Australian crowd when they, as you look at the photographers, when they start to cheer errors. But this is such a big match for Rafter that the crowd are going to play a big part if it gets very close. Although I think Andre Agassi's had enough experience not to let that bother him. But it did bother Ondruska the other evening when he led 2-1 against Rafter, and Rafter came back and won it in 5.
thought if you stay back with Agassi, I mean, he'll tie you down and just beat up on you badly. Agassi ahead. No breaks. 4-3 second set. Agassi ahead, 1 set, 4 games to 3 on serve. Patrick Rafter of Australia to serve. He is, as we've said before, the lone Australian surviving in this tournament in either the women's or men's singles. Different story in the doubles, of course. Australians have got some very good and strong doubles teams. Rafter to serve, trailing 3-4 and 1 set to love. See how he picks the serving arm up, doesn't let it drop like most players do in an effort to abbreviate it and hit the ball hard. It's worked well for him. Watch how he just picks it straight up. Right there.
Well, this is where it all happened. Pretty much in the first set. Agassi broke Rafter to lead 4-3.
It's a great serve again.
Big difference when you get that first delivery in.
40-15.
Pat Cash played serve and volley tennis, but it was his volley game that was so good. His serve was never this big, was it?
No, it wasn't. Keeping that serve at around about 100 miles an hour. 7 aces for Rafter for the match.
He's picked his service percentage up in this set. It's 68% in this second set. That's pretty darn good serving.
5 players ready to play.
He steered that one wide. I can remember, Fred, that you keep the score a couple of 30-all games here on Agassi serve. He has not, certainly, I know, faced a break point yet in this match. So Agassi has dominated on his own serve, hasn't he?
Well, to the extent that when he gets his first serve in, Cliff, he's won 100% of the points in this set. He hasn't lost a point when he's got his first serve in this set.
Agassi is, again, we talk about how the serve doesn't get enough publicity. He's only lost 1 point on his first serve in this match, and this is exactly how he won the U.S. Open. He played Stieck in the final. Everyone thought that Stieck would have the big serving weapon, and it was Agassi, in fact, who busted Stieck all over the place and then held all over the place.
Yeah, it's a very underrated part of his game.
Going for a big one there at 40 low percentage shot. Didn't even come close. Still game point here for Agassi.
But even now, he knows that he can do that when he's up 40 low.
Yeah, exactly.
And he went for that tough one behind his back in that first set. Because he could. But that used to be the kind of stuff he'd play on big points. He'd play it all wrong.
Half volley attempted passing shot there, and Rafter misses the volley, so Agassi's in front, 5-4, and 1 set to love. Agassi an easy winner of the first set. Rafter has stayed with him in the second set. Agassi leading 5-4 on serve. Agassi talks about how Rafter here in Australia is the man of the hour.
He's definitely their man now. I mean, his last Australian still left in the singles event, and he's a a great athlete who plays a great serve and volley, classic serve and volley game, and he's one of those guys that if you're not sharp on your game, he's gonna beat you. He's gonna give you problems because he's getting the net and he's forcing you to hit accurate shots. And I think I've been hitting the ball so well, though. A high percentage of first serves is a key for me, and make sure I'm taking the offense on the ground and returning well. And I've been doing all that really strong. I mean, he'll have the crowd behind him, no doubt, but I'll just pretend it's a Davis Cup match.
It feels like a Davis Cup match. Yeah. But Agassi, everything he talked about yesterday, Agassi, he's doing. Agassi is getting in a high percentage of first serves at 60%, and every other part of his game is very forceful at the same time that he's staying very clean.
Love 15.
I thought going in, again, it was such a hype fest here, but I always felt that this match was going to be about one break a set, and that Agassi could take it in straights.
4-5, love 15, second set. 2 breaks in the first set for Agassi.
There again, a double fault, and Rafter pretty much upset with himself. It's only the third double fault, but they've all come at a very tough time for him. One was to lose the service break. Another one was to open it up for Agassi, and now he has done it again. He's down love 30, 4-5. Pressure building.
First serve, and Agassi hit the return about as hard as the serve came to him. Clipped the top of the net, 15-30. Oh. If that's not intimidating, what is? Set points here, 2 of them for Agassi. First serve hit at, let's see, 175 Ks. That makes about 108 miles an hour.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
Cross-court winner, and Agassi is a 2-set-to-none leader in this best-of-5 set singles match. 1 break in the second set, 2 breaks in the first.
Alex Dixon, Pat Rafter's girlfriend, not a happy spectator tonight, but that's just too good from Andre Agassi in that game. What's the return again? This is the second or third time in this game, forcing him to half volley, which opens up the court. Rafter has to guess. He looks for the one down the line. It goes cross-court. Agassi, 2 sets to love.
Ready to play. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready.
First point, third set. Crowd have not been subdued, have they? One way normally to quiet a crowd down is to beat your man.
40. Game Agassi. First game.
He is making it look easy today, isn't he? 1 game to love and 2 sets to love. Andre Agassi taking on Australia's Pat Rafter. Once Pete Sampras gets your number, look out. And he has, of late anyway, had the number of the man that he's playing tomorrow, Jim Courier of the USA. It'll be our feature match at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Pete Sampras and Jim Courier both trying to win this Ford Australian Open again. Now, this is a pretty sight, and Fred Stolle is from Sydney. The Sydneyites and the Melbourneites don't see eye to eye on everything, but I think even you'd have to agree Fred's pretty pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is a very impressive city at night, yeah. Oh, dear. No, you just can't help it.
One game to love, 2 sets to love, Agassi. Steers that one wide. Now, I tell you, Pat Rafter played a very good second set there until the game that Agassi broke him.
Clippy hasn't played a bad match, Pat Rafter. The other man at the other end of the court, Andre Agassi, is just too tough. He's returned too well. He served better. Everything in this match that Rafter's given Agassi, Agassi has been able to come up a little bit better.
Point is, Fred, that Pat Rafter has really got to get out of the blocks early in every serve game or he's in trouble.
15 on.
15 all. Good move from Rafter, good anticipation. He figured that Agassi would get to it and stayed with the point.
Fans like that one, and Andre Agassi, good wheels to get to that one. Pat Rafter was there, pushed it, and it stayed inside the baseline. Look at that return of serve. That was a tremendous first serve from Pat Rafter, straight at the body of Andre Agassi. He saw the ball so early that he was able to meet it out in front. Watch this. Straight at the body. He sees it so early, gets it out in front, blocks it back, uses the pace of the shot, and it sets up an easy volley for him.
Pat Rafter is in the top 10 in the world in the aces department on serve. Served 7 today so far.
Too good. And it's the return of serve that's doing it, because it was a well-executed low backhand volley. But you really can't get much on that, and you've got to go cross-court with it. He anticipates the cross-court move, Agassi. Look at this. Preparation. He's got that racket back before the ball bounces, and he has a choice of where he wants to go. Break point.
Agassi is 3 of 6 in breakpoint chances. Rafter hasn't had any.
Second serve.
He went for the big second serve again. Hit the tape.
Feels like he's got to, doesn't he?
But he's pressing.
Yeah. Oh, boy, he got very close there. It was a slight mishit maybe on the return from Andre Agassi. Whatever, he has the break early stage here.
2 games to
love. Of the third set, 2 sets to love. 2 games to love now. Well, all of Australia was hoping for something better from Pat Rafter, but in truth, Andre Agassi is the class of these two.
Played on 2 occasions before, and it was Agassi who beat Rafter 6-2, 6-4 at the Lipton Championships in Miami. Prior to that, they met at Wimbledon in 1993, and Agassi won that in 4 sets. Rafter won the second set in a tiebreaker, and then Agassi won like 6-love, 6-1.
Next up for the winner of this match will be Evgeny Kafelnikov of Russia. He played a tremendous match today against Todd Martin, the number 8 seed and last year's finalist here at the Ford Australian Open.
Kafelnikov looked terrific today. Todd Martin played a very bad match, a very flat match, but Kafelnikov has one of the most dangerous returns of serve as well, and that puts Agassi up to 40 love. 2 aces in this set. His 3rd overall. That could be a great match, but I just think, again, I mean, Kafelnikov can still blow hot and cold, match to match, even set to set. Agassi doesn't do that anymore.
.40-15, still game point for Agassi. Also, Jaco Elting today won just a very tough one against Patrick McEnroe. And so did Aaron Cricksteed beat Edberg.
I talked to Kafelnikov after his victory today, and he said that, hey, if I don't serve well against Agassi, he said, Agassi will make my serve look like hamburger meat.
Oh, good swing from Rafter.
He had to stab it because he's gotten burned when he hasn't done enough with his volleys in this match. So he knew he had to give this backhand volley a real ride and really slice it hard and off the court. You got to knife him up there. As I said earlier, opponents against Agassi in the first 3 rounds of this thing have gotten killed at the net.
Agassi holds on and's got a 3-game-to-love lead and 2 sets to love in this best-of-5 round of 16 match. That says get well soon Gully, and that references, and that's Andre Agassi's bag, references Tim Gullickson and the terrible troubles that he's been having here at the Australian Open. He collapsed again and was taken to the hospital. He is going home tomorrow with his brother Tom. Davis Cup captain. He collapsed in Stockholm and cut his head badly on a glass table in his hotel room. And he collapsed again during the Grand Slam Cup in Munich and was hospitalized for 8 days. Now, they've done all kinds of tests, and I just talked to his brother and said, how is your brother feeling now? As you look at this replay just before this match, and he said, look, he's a heck of a lot better now, and we're going home tomorrow together.
Well, Pete Sampras had dinner with his coach tonight, and he's dedicated the match that he came through and won yesterday to his coach. And we, of course, the veterans of the tour, as well as all the players on the tour, he's a very popular man, Gully, and we wish him all the best. Safe trip home.
Taken to Epworth Hospital about 5 minutes from here, and I was delighted to hear that he was able to get out of the hospital tonight. No clear definition on what his problem is. They're again, you know, taking
well, he's had a couple of strokes.
Minor strokes is what they're calling it.
Yeah, they know what it is, and he's been on blood thinners, and yeah, we're all worried about Gully. We hope he takes care of himself because he's a terrific guy.
Love 30.
By the way, Nick Bollettieri is leaving as well, even though one of his chargers, Mary Pierce, is still very much alive at the Australian. Prior commitments is sending Nick home.
Break
so
points here for Agassi.
A whole bunch of players trying to win without their coaches here. Jim Courier's here without Jose Higueras.
Another brilliant return from Agassi. Boy, he's won a lot. He hits that one down there so early, and even though you know it's going there, it's tough to get back. Bunch of break points now. Love 40.
There is the break. The second break for Agassi. He has got a major league lead. 2 sets and 4 games to love.
And this is how his serve is stacked up tonight. First serve percentages, 60%. When he gets the first serve in, 97% of the points won. That means he's lost 1 point on first serve, 52% on second serves. He has dominated this match.
59.
The fight is not out of the Australian or these 15,000 people who are watching.
You'd get really rubbish in Australia if you gave up, right?
Yeah.
He's looking. He's trying as hard as he can to win points.
I don't like whingers here in Australia.
I don't know what you tell a young man like Rafter about a match he's played tonight. Because Agassi hasn't played that bad a match, and obviously we say he's not out of it, but he's down 2 sets to love and 4 love, and now it's the first opportunity he's had at 15-30 on the Agassi serve.
This is exactly why, you know, he is playing well, but he has been comprehensively beaten from every part of the court by the #2 player in the world.
So you got to say, well, you went out there, you stuck to your game plan, you did the right thing, you came into the net, you served and volleyed. You can't stay at the baseline, so it's just a matter of experience. But Agassi has just been too tough in every department. He's tried to slice the return of serve. He's tried to come over the return of serve, as he did on this occasion.
30-all. Newcomb and Roach. Newcomb on the left. Roach on the right.
I hope that's coffee in Newt's cup.
Captain on the left and coach on the right of the Australian Davis Cup team. Heading for Durban, South Africa with the first round of the Davis Cup.
Alex Dixon.
The most hated woman in Australia.
Agassi.
Yeah, he's not too popular in Australia at this moment, is he? Andre Agassi is beating up on Patrick Rafter. Patrick Rafter trying to stay in the match, down 5 games to love and 2 sets to love.
Nothing you can do. It's a good second serve. The tactics are right, but the result has been the same all night. Agassi's just too tough on that second serve. Love 30.
I don't think there's any doubt but that Kafelnikov is going to test Agassi. But if he plays anything like he's playing tonight, I don't see anybody beating him with the exception of Pete Sampras in the final, because there's a couple of more matches to go for both of them before they get there. Sampras to play Courier tomorrow night. And they will be in our feature match tomorrow.
See, I don't think a serve and volleyer is going to beat Agassi on this court. I think it's got to be a Courier-like opponent. I don't think a serve and volleyer can do anything against returns like that.
Match points for Agassi now. 15-40. Still match point. Just extraordinary stuff by Agassi. Second serve return winner. clean winner, and he wins the match in straight sets. I suppose, Mary Carrillo, you could say disappointing for the fans here, but was Andre Agassi good or what?
He was terrific. I think the fans are lucky tonight to have seen that great a tennis player. Andre Agassi has now won 12 straight sets here. He's playing the brand of tennis that wins Grand Slam titles.
And Cliff, Agassi